guys are doing well. I wanted to go live and do my Q&A session for you guys. Last week it was my anniversary. So, um I really wasn't able to go live, but I wanted to go over. A lot of people have questions on how to start building your credit. So I'm going to mic up and give everyone a chance to come in. If you are here or as you come in, you guys, make sure you hit the thumbs up for me. I really appreciate it because it helps the algorithm to let other people know that I'm out here so they can come in for the Q&A section. So when it comes down to your credit, when it comes down to really where to start with your credit, you need to look at what your situation is individually. And one of the problems that a lot of people have, they don't know really what's the real problem with their credit. So I like to use the term, it's like a house. People might say, hey, I have an issue with my house. I need my house fixed. But there's many parts working with a home. It can be the plumbing, it can be carpentry, it can be the roof. You need to know the electrical. What is your real issue with your credit? So as you guys come in, please give this video a thumbs up so it can help the algorithm. So we're going to talk about how do you start to build credit, especially for those people who don't have any past credit history. This is also helpful for people if you have children. You need to start building their credit now. But in order to start building their credit, if you're a parent, you have to start being responsible yourself. So one of the things, thank you for joining me, Steve. You always coming in. I appreciate it. Thank you, Brandon, for coming in from North Carolina. As y'all come in for the chat. Oh, thank you, Miss Cox. You're always here. So I really appreciate it. So and somebody said, hey, I want to know which trade lines are good for rebuilding credit. Okay, so we're going to get into that information. And one other thing, this channel is also dedicated to helping you guys start to learn how to get other streams of income. I want you, if you're following me, especially in this new economy, if y'all looking around, looking at inflation, you go into the grocery store, to the gas pump. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it. You want to focus now because as y'all can see, everything done went up. Thank you for joining me, Born. I appreciate it. Everything is up. Inflation is really out here, from food, your gas. Right now, people, everything is up except your pay. If you're working, active income, you're starting to see that one job, especially if you're located, as Born came in from Queens, Brooklyn, if you're in the Northeast, and even in certain states, California and stuff, it's very hard to live because the rent prices, and even now in Florida, you see rent going up. You're seeing places like Vegas. Thank you for joining me, Mr. Campbell. You see rent is going up, that some people are getting increases of a rent hike as high as $600 from the rent. And with all this inflation, there is no way that if you're on a fixed income or only have one source of income, an 8-hour job, even if you're making so-called good money, and that's relative to everybody else, it's not to each person is relative what good money is, or because it depends on the lifestyle that you want to live. It's very hard now with the cost of goods, services, food, gas, to make it without having other sources of income. So this channel, I've been showing you guys industry that I was in. Right now, I'm kind of on maternity leave, and it was the property preservation business and field inspections. I started with the field inspection. Thank you for joining me, Veronica. The field inspections business. So I'm bringing, if you want to find out videos on that, field inspection is really what it is, a general term, because you have mortgage companies, banks, lenders. They need people to go and be their eyes and ears in the street, because there are backing these homes financially. They're giving out money and they need to really keep their eyes on their assets. So you have banks and you also have insurance companies that needs people to be eyes and ears in the streets. So a lot of them on the mortgage side, they have reports that they want you to fill out. All of this stuff can be done on your cell phone. Simple type of inspections. You don't need a license or a certification to do this stuff. You can get contracts with them and you can make upwards to, really $100 an hour. There's been some inspections I did, and it paid me $600 was the top that I got paid for these this inspection, and that was on the insurance side. So you can do these inspections full time as I did them, or you can do it part time. So you can do that all in one income. How you doing, Felicia? Thank you for joining me. My day was excellent. Thank you so much for asking. So this way you can start, because a lot of people are not techie, but I will bring you some opportunities of how you can make money online. But some people, if you're in my age group, and you're like 35 to, 40 and up, you might want to be more hands-on. But my thing is, whatever you can do, door dashing, Instacart, whatever you can do to make extra income, you should really look into it, especially with the cost of inflation that is going on in the market and everybody can see it. So this is what this channel is dedicated to. Plus, if you're looking to work on your credit, what you are extended in credit from banks and other lending institutions is based on your income. So a lot of people just think, if I have good credit, I got an 850 credit score, I can just get anything. No, baby, your income comes to play too. You got to be able to afford to pay for that. Banks are just not giving you lines of credit and you don't have any source of income. People that want to have businesses, with no source of income, you cannot just do that. So make sure that you start to increase your income any way that you can. So you want to start looking into that. So I'm going to jump into the subject. What we want to talk about is how to begin to build credit. Okay. And one way to build credit is just like what I was talking about. Number one, you need to have income, because a great way to build credit now, you don't have to just focus on having credit issued to you. There's new fintech companies, and a lot of these fintech companies will issue you credit off of your income. Okay, so say even if you have a business, a great way, if you got a business and you're making money, places like Stripe and PayPal will look strictly at your cash flow. You also have fintech companies that on the personal side, where depending on your cash flow, they will look at that, like Tomo, the Tomo card, certain cards like Pedal. Also, you have Credit AI is another company that looks at your income and they'll extend you credit, not looking at your credit history. So there are ways that you can start building credit. Another great card that you can look at, and I'm going to do a video on that, is the extra debit card. Now, with the extra debit card, it will report for you a line of credit, and it will issue you a line of credit, and it will link through Plaid to your bank account and will give you a line of credit. So with that, Every time you use your debit card, it automatically pays that line of credit that they issue you down. Now, with Extra, it does report to, I believe it's Experian and Equifax. It doesn't report to TransUnion, but you have a 99% chance of getting approved for that line of credit. So someone asked about what type of trade lines. If you're trying to build credit, that is a great type of trade line if you have no place to start. Okay. So you can look into the Extra debit card, and it will just be used. You use it, they'll link it to your own debit card. Unlike, I believe, Chime. Chime is one, but the thing I don't like about Chime, you have to have an account and direct deposit with them. With the Extra debit card, you don't have to. They'll just link it directly to your account. You don't have to change anything, and they will report a line of credit. So that's a great way to start to build credit, especially if you're a person going through these fintech companies who don't have any credit history. It'll be based solely off of your income. So this is why it's very important, even with this channel, is to get your income up. Because now with these new fintech companies, if you're making more income, they will issue you credit based on your income. And some of them don't even do a credit check. Now, some of them do have a credit check. Now, another avenue, if you're fresh off and you're trying to build credit, beside the fintech avenues that I just gave, you want to make sure that you get yourself, if you're starting off, you have no income. Let's just imagine a person is 18 years old. You want to start getting yourself in the system. And the way you can do that is start to sign up for things like a CVS card. If you're in the Northeast, Stop and Shop, ShopRite, Big Y. If you in the South, Texas, HEB, wherever local stores that is around you, when they have those signups, you would like to sign up. Now, the reason why a lot of people will say, "Oh, LexisNexis, is a fourth party data." It's actually a CRA. It's a credit reporting agency, just like the big three, which is Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. But LexisNexis, the reason why you want to get yourself in that system, a lot of companies, a reason why they pull from LexisNexis for your information is to stop fraud. They want to make sure you're a real person. So LexisNexis keep data and history on you as an individual. So that kind of information, you want to get in the system. If a lot of people that has got denied, they'll say, the company said, I don't have any history, credit history, or no information is on me. A lot of times it's because you haven't gotten your name in the LexisNexis system. And they have that running in the background, like I said, to prevent fraud. So a lot of people that might have did a small stint, maybe in prison, or did some jail time, they'll come out. They might even have sat for 6 months and there's been no activity in their name whatsoever. They find it very hard that it's no information on them. And a lot of times it's connected to that. So there are reasons why you do want to get on the radar, especially with LexisNexis. If you're a person, 18-year-old, or somebody who's fresh to credit, starting off, if you just came to this country, you want to get your name in the system. The other way that you need to start to add and to build credit, another good way, is authorized user accounts. If you know someone with good credit, you can piggyback off their credit. And you can start building credit like that. When they add you on as an authorized user, it really means it's another credit card that they're giving you permission with that card to use their credit line. But what happens is they can hold that card and really not give you that card. They can keep that card themselves to put that card up. And you don't have access to that card. So that will give a lot of people, if you got relatives with good credit who's not crazy about the idea, just tell them they just keep the card. Now, one thing you might have to do in order for that to register for you, they will have to activate that credit card and then put it up so it can get your name in the system. Now, when you piggyback, many companies will give you that person past payment history. So that can help you instantaneously build a line of credit or a trade line, as people said. But I want you guys to understand a trade line is anything reporting to your credit report. So if it's an installment account, revolving credit, which is like credit cards, revolving lines of credit, those are different types of trade lines. So I'm not a big fan of self or pledge loans. I'm just not a big fan on it. I just don't agree with adding debt onto your credit report to try to build history. I mean, especially debt that is not, attached to a vehicle, or what is the point of adding debt? You can build payment history with credit cards. So like I said, being add on as an authorized user, it will build payment history. Or even if you get a credit card, you can just use it and build payment history. You don't necessarily need to add a debt. And the reason why I don't like self or any kind of debt, if you're going to get approved, let's say for a car, because everybody have had that experience, it's all based on your disposable income. So if you're putting like a debt of an extra $250 a month, just to build credit, then that qualify you less for a car that you might can afford. So you can't afford as much because of that $250 debt, especially if you're trying to go for a home and you're throwing a debt on your credit report. Well, I got an installment account of $250 a month for 2 years, then you qualify for less of a home. You can't afford as much because you have a debt obligation every month for the next 24 months. So I just don't see it as being wise. Why don't you add on an unsecured line of credit, which utilization makes up 30%, the second largest chunk of your credit score? Why wouldn't you add that on? Especially if that person that's you're piggybacking is managing their utilization on that card very well. That means having that utilization at bare minimum 29% and lower. You just add on utilization via piggybacking on their unsecured line of credit. And you will see an increase in your credit score. You'll see a boost in your credit score because utilization is 30% of your credit score. The biggest chunk is payment history. A lot of people focus on that, but nobody focus on the second biggest chunk, which is 30% is utilization. Payment history, 35%. Utilization is 30%. Those two categories right there make up 65% of your credit score. If you manage those, you can have really your credit score just about licked. So adding on a authorized, you being added on as an authorized user, it'll help you in both of those categories. It'll help you in payment history because you're adopting that person good payment history. So it'll help you in that 35% category, and the utilization. So if you're a new person to credit, that's another great way to go to start building credit. So those will be some of the go-tos. Focusing on finding a fintech company that will look at your income and extend you credit, or piggybacking is a good way to start building credit. Now, depending on what your age group is, if you're a person that is in college, many times they do have college credit cards that you can be extended. Like I think Discover have a student credit card, or another good way to start building credit instead of going to, like, subprime credit cards like a Credit One Bank, which have a high annual fee and they have high interest. Instead of those options, I always say store cards, but you want to get one with a Visa logo or a MasterCard logo or an American Express logo, because those kind of cards you can use everywhere. It, like, for example, the Walgreens credit card, either Visa or MasterCard. I believe it's a Visa logo on that card. Even though you're using it with Walgreens and it's a Walgreens card, but because it has a Visa logo, you can rent a hotel room, you can rent a car because it has that logo. With those kind of cards, you don't have that high annual fee that you would have to pay with like a First Premier Bank and a Credit One Bank, and you might get a larger line of credit. Generally with Credit One Bank, they're going to start you with a 300 line of credit to a 750 line of credit. It's usually not that high of a line of credit that they're going to issue you. Another great way to build credit, if you're going to go with a bank card, I will recommend Capital One Quicksilver. So Capital One does have an array of credit cards. They have, high tier credit cards, and then they have credit builder credit cards. The only downside I don't really like about Capital One, even the Walmart card, I don't like, is and that's issued by Capital One. Capital One pulls all three credit reports, and I don't know why they do that. That is just annoying, because most credit card companies only pull from one bureau. That's it. So you only get one bureau pull, and you don't get three hard inquiries, only one hard inquiry on that bureau. But with Capital One, they pull across the board. So that's annoying. But besides that, it's a good place to start if you're building credit, and it gives you a place to go. At least they have other higher tier credit cards that you can move to. So that is my go-to if you're starting to build credit. Okay, if you're a person that never had credit history and you're saying, I don't know where to start, I don't know how to get in, that is the way that you should go. If you have young relatives, if you have young children that you're trying to develop their credit, you can start now, especially if you're a person that got good payment history. You can add your kids on an authorized user account sometimes as young as 13, 14. So if you do that now, they can start building good credit history really immediately. And then when they come of age, they'll have credit already in place. They have a good credit profile in place. So hopefully that was helpful. I want to see about you guys' questions. If you have questions, I'm going to go down and read some of you guys' questions. You can submit it in right now. Okay. Myra said, I'm self-employed, and yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah, California is getting really high. And I'm from Jersey. Jersey is high. Thank you for joining me, Timothy from H-Town. Thank you for joining me. It's getting very, very high. So, Felicia said, so Q&A a bit random, but I've been stuck on a train for 6 hours and all the bathroom, oh God, are closed. I never had to be so bad. Okay, I hope you can find you a bathroom, because that is the worst feeling in the world when you can't get to a bathroom when you need one. Thank you for joining me, TJ. I really appreciate your wonderful comments and your motivation. Thank you, Natalie, for joining me. Hello, love the information. Thank you for joining me. Mr. Campbell said I have extra for a month or so now. I'm waiting to see how it boosts my credit score. All right. Keep us all posted. And Myra said, I have Chime, Wells Fargo, and Navy Federal accounts. Okay, that's a great now. Navy Federal, if you can get in there. That's a great way to go. I'm not such a great advocate for secured credit cards because I'm not one to believe, like, if you can find other avenues, like Mr. Campbell said that he used extra, where you can start building credit or adding a line of credit onto your credit report to start that way instead of putting money out of your pocket. But as she says, she's with Navy Federal. If you're starting to build credit, I will say getting a Navy Federal secured card, most people will tell you they will convert that within a year. If you're now, you just don't want to be defaulting on things, but you want to make sure in that process that you're maintaining your credit and just not getting all kinds of collections or not paying your bill on time. But they will convert it. Also, Discover will convert their credit cards. So that's a great way to start. And you said Plaid is being sued and was sued. I got a settlement offer due by April. Okay, where did you it said Plaid was asking for our bank info, log in, which I guess is okay, X'd out. Well, I know I'm connected with Plaid for my insurance. I have Ladder. I haven't had an issue thus far, but Plaid is, if y'all don't know what Plaid is, it's a connection that a couple of websites or services use, that they're go between to connect to your bank account. And for me, I with Ladder, my insurance connect through Plaid, and I pay my my insurance premium that way for my life insurance. But let me know what issues you having with Plaid. Please let me know. Antonia said car loan credit cards. Um Give me some details if you can, like a car loan credit card. Let me know what kind is it. Does it have a Visa logo or a MasterCard logo? And what car loan credit card are you referring to? Okay, please let me know that. You said a $58 million lawsuit plan they settled for. Okay. I'll look into it to see what details on why they settled or what the lawsuit was for. Okay, Miss Cox says if a credit card company activated a card they sent to me themselves, is that allowed? I want the card, but after seeing the fees, it wasn't worth it, so I never activated. Okay, what was the company? Let me know. And if you have other cards, let me know. Yeah, I don't know why it would be activated already. I know sometimes they'll send you a card in the mail and they'll tell you to, but you're talking about it's already activated. I never had that where you can just use it from the jump. I never had that experience. Let me know what company it is, because we all helping each other with information. So let me know. Travis, thank you for joining me. And Truth Seeker, thank you so much for joining me. Kingdom Living said, thank you for all you do. My question is, when I have a $5,000 secured credit card, when you probably apply for another credit card, does it have to be higher than $5,000? Okay, so you're saying when you have a $5,000 unsecured credit card, when you apply for another credit card, does it has to be higher than $5,000? Now, are you saying you already have a $5,000 credit card, and if you apply for another credit card, will it be higher automatically, or does it has to be higher? No, it's no there's no requirement that they have to give you a higher credit card, but generally they usually will match that $5,000 or go beyond, because banks really only trust you as far as the last bank trusts you. So generally what they'll do is either give you that $5,000 because that other company have given you a $5,000 credit card, or they might go beyond that $5,000, like for instance a $7,000 credit card. So it all depends on the bank that you're dealing with, the rules, and what's on your credit profile. Because another thing is, that person's individual credit score If that person got a $5,000 credit card, what's their utilization? If it's maxed out, they might just deny you, or if you're carrying too much utilization, they might deny you. So nothing is absolute, when it comes to banks. Because let's say Chase, for instance, certain banks just have regulations, or they have just certain, even application standards. Like, Chase will never give you a credit card if you got more than 5 new accounts in the 2 years period. It's an automatic denial. So you can have an 850 credit score and they don't give a darn. You're just not going to get that card there. So that's what I'm saying. It all depends on the bank that you're dealing with and their individual rules. So hopefully that's helpful. Brandon said, would you recommend a Navy Federal pledge loan to build your credit with them? I mean, yeah, if you're going to, I guess little small ones like $250 and paying them off. I mean, me myself, I'm just not a fan of a long-term pledge loan. Like I said, especially I guess if you have time and you're not applying for anything, I guess that's fine. But I mean, I would just personally go with a secured credit card with Navy Fed than the pledge loan. That's just my stance personally. You can build a relationship with a secured credit card. Why do I have to get a pledge loan? That's just my opinion. They have other products. You get the checking account, you get the savings account, put money in there, and get you a secured credit card, which can be converted in like 6 months. They'll review it and turn it to a credit card. So I just don't see myself personally, the purpose of just adding debt to pay. I don't see that, like me myself personally. So that's what I would recommend to build credit. I'll get a secured credit card. And Miss Cox said it's Milestone. Now, I never heard that Milestone would send you a credit card that's automatically activated. And you said it's already posted to all 3 credit bureaus. Well, I would just have them to cancel it. But did you see an increase in your credit score? Because closing it down could decrease your credit score, but I would call them, and find out and have it removed. But I never heard of that. I know of Milestone, but I never heard. If anybody else that's here, if you had that situation, chime in and let us know. But I'm not familiar that they just send you an activated card and already have reported it to the credit bureaus. That's interesting. Make sure there's no fraud going on your credit report, unless somebody, use your name or old address and apply for a credit card. Because I did have a client, maybe last year, her sister did that to her. So find out. I had people, their mom did that to them. And I'm not saying your family is like that, but I'm just saying, just make sure it's not fraud, okay? But it usually sometimes be family members that really know people information. Like your mama might know your social security. This one person, they mama knew their social security, date of birth, where they lived. So if you have relatives like that, just make sure you check into that, okay? Mr. Campbell said, for a home inspection, do they give you due dates when the information needs to be turned in? Yeah, they do. And you have 2 types. If you're doing, and these are field inspections, and it will be a mortgage field inspection or an occupancy inspection, or an insurance loss control inspection, or what I'm going to show y'all, collateral inspections or equipment inspections. So you wouldn't want to use the term home inspections, because that's more like if you're going to purchase a home, there's a home inspector. And those type of people for a home inspection to tell you the condition of the home and what need to be fixed, those people are certified. But for the mortgage, if that's what you're talking about, mortgage field inspections, on all of them, the mortgage side and the insurance side, there's going to be a date attached to when to do that inspection. With the mortgage side, there's going to be a shorter due date. Maybe within 3 to 4 days. 7 days is generally what they should give you as a week. With that's with the mortgage side, but with the insurance side, they should give you a month and better on a date, because you have to many times call and make an appointment. So those are longer due dates. And Kingdom said, yes, I already have a $5,000 unsaid. Well, I answered that question. It all depends on the details on your credit profile, how much utilization, and what's the rules of that bank. So hopefully that helped. And somebody actually said, my credit is so stagnant. I'm wondering what I'm doing wrong. Oh, number one, do you have any negative items, and what is your current credit score currently right now? And then we can kind of get down to the bottom of that question. Veronica said, I need assistance with disputing a veterinarian hospital bill from Banfield for my dog from 2019. I canceled the insurance. They continue to bill me. I have a IC system bill, and it's $122, and K Karma reporting, Credit Karma, I guess, $422. If you canceled it, I will call the company directly, not the collection company. Call Banfield if you really canceled it. If one thing that you should do is send a debt validation letter directly to IC Systems for that, to dispute that, or they have to show proof that they purchased that debt from Banfield. So they're a third-party collector, and I have a video. If you go to my channel, because I don't want to getting in the difference between collections and charge-offs. If you can go and listen to those videos, there's different steps, but when it comes down to a collection, you have a right under the federal law, which is the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, to send a debt validation letter. So I do have them at my website if you need a debt validation letters. Yeah, I have a platinum package with all inclusive, but you want to send a debt validation letter, or you can send a debt validation letter on your own directly to the collection company. But I will also send it certified. Always send your letters certified. But I will also call that company, especially if you told them to cancel that. Kingdom Living, you're saying I have Navy Fed, but I need to know what's the balance on that card, what's the standing. I made a video recently on my channel, maybe like 3 days ago. If you want to know about the internal credit score, where I broke all of that down, because I can't do that here because it's a lot of detail. You can check that out, but it's not, nothing is guaranteed or etched in stone either way. There's different things that is personal to you, because like I said, Navy Fed have an internal credit score on that, and it has to pair up with your TransUnion credit score for a credit card. And some of the details I broke down in that video, you can compare, how that lines up with your hard inquiries, and some of those other details that I got in that video. But it was a lot. I went over 12 things, so you need to just go through that, and then that can kind of give you an idea on what they would give you. Okay, so check that out. Ann said, please, is Lexington Law Credit a good way to fix my credit? Thanks. I don't recommend credit repair companies. I will leave it like that. I don't have a relationship. I never had any, luck with anybody like that. So with them, it's no. I have dealt with them in the past. Didn't work for me. Don't mean it worked for anybody else, but it did not work for me. I paid them folks $635, and them folks ain't do nothing for me. But that was way back in the day, and this is how I learned this credit information, because they didn't do nothing for me. So That's my experience with it. They ain't do a darn thing. So I had to learn myself, and I'm giving it to you for free. You just got to apply it. That's how you do it. I mean, that was my experience. Maybe somebody else has something else, but this is how I started to learn this and why I started to invest. And that was way back then where I didn't have free YouTube. I got books I read, and I paid a lot, and I give it to y'all for free. So no, I don't recommend them. Or anybody else, I don't know. And I just learned how to deal with my credit myself. Because one thing y'all got to understand, credit is nothing but an algorithm based off of your behavior. So can nobody make you pay your bills on time? Can nobody control your credit card utilization? Can nobody control you applying for a credit card to cause hard inquiries or anything else but you? So it's dictated off of your behavior. And then the second part is most people that have bad credit, they just didn't have enough income, or the income they had got discontinued because they got hurt, they got unemployed. And so this is what this channel is about. You need to have some other streams of income, and you sure need to have some savings that can but how are you going to have savings if you don't have other streams of income to help manage that? So those are the two issues. And so you can dispute things off of your credit report yourself. If you got collections, you can send your own debt validation letters. That's the only thing they can do for you anyway. Another thing, y'all, credit repair companies under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, TransUnion this year, I think they've resolved less than the lowest ever. I think less than 23%. And the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, because they was getting so many complaints, they said one of the excuses they used is, and this is a fact, credit repair companies don't have a right to dispute for you. Only you can dispute for you. I don't care if it's a lawyer, yada, 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 whoever. They don't have a right to dispute for you. If they feel that it's coming from a credit repair agency, they just don't have to answer. They say it's frivolous. It's a frivolous complaint. It's a frivolous dispute. So they don't even have to answer. This is why I have in my packages affidavits. So they cannot claim that. I went before a notary, which is an appointed person of the state, and I showed them my ID, and this affidavit says me. So they cannot make up that lie that it came from a credit repair company. So they don't even have to answer your complaint. They don't even have to bother with it, your dispute coming from a credit repair agency. And you can look it up. They don't have a right to dispute for you. That's actually in the Fair Credit Reporting Act. They don't even have to answer it. So this is why people talk about, templates. The reason why they talk about the templates is because they set up eOscar to stop credit repair agencies for disputing for people, so they don't have to answer it. So my always is going to be the best thing is to learn for yourself, to educate yourself, and handle it yourself, because ultimately only you can pay your bills on time and manage your credit cards and just manage your finances in order to improve the credit score, because it is an algorithm based off of your behavior, nobody else. So that's what I suggest. Jacqueline said, on chapter 13, I've been on for 4 years. I'm thinking about going chapter 7. Total bankruptcy. Would this damage my credit? Yes. Yep. Sure would. Because it's going to show up again. So I have seen people 3 or 4 times that got 3 or 4 bankruptcies on their so it'll get dismissed or whatever. And yeah, at least with the chapter 13, it only stays on your credit for 5 years. No, 7 years. 7 years after you get it discharged. Chapter 7 stays on for 10 years. So you'll be starting that process again of keeping that, chapter 13. Now, most people, if you go on chapter 13, I'll tell you from the rip, you got some kind of property or real estate. Because most people do a chapter 7 if they have a house. No, if they have just credit card debt or, anything else they want to discharge. But you go on chapter 13 and it sound like you got some real estate or something you was trying to hold on to. I know some people was saying a car, but I don't you'll have to talk to a bankruptcy attorney. And sometimes even they don't know if how it's going to report on people credit report. But I have seen people that filed different the things got dismissed and they done had some back to back to back and they have 3 on there. I had seen somebody, the most was 3, and it was like 3 bankruptcies within like 90 days. I guess it kept being discharged and they kind of tried to keep stalling it out. It got dismissed and they kept doing that, and I don't know. It just showed up 3 times. So I had a few people, it was 2 or 3. So that will show up again. So I hope that's helpful. Ann said, no, please do not use. Oh, Steve said, Ann, no, do not use them. They do not work. That was my result, Steve. So I can only speak for me. That's it. I know you told on the inspections of making $75 an hour. Okay, thank you. Yes. So with the restaurant inspections, you guys, now the ones that I'm showing you with all these types of inspections, thank you for joining me, Rita. You always tuning in. I appreciate you. I really do. With the inspections, I'm showing you different sides of the inspections. Keep in mind, like in my ebook, there's different companies. And when you read the description, if you see something like restaurant inspections, commercial inspections, those companies are generally going to be on the insurance side. So those kind of companies is going to have an array of those inspections that I'm talking about, the insurance inspections. So you won't do just exclusive restaurant inspections or exclusive, most of the time, sometimes residential. There's company that only do residential homes for insurance companies. But you will have an array of these types of inspections if you're working there. Mortgage field inspections on a mortgage side, they generally don't mix with the insurance side. So you can choose to work both sides. So when I was a contractor, I did the insurance. I had a company for that. And I had a couple of companies that did the mortgage field inspections. So these are contracting companies and they'll give you territories, their own work. But always keep in mind, you can choose on what you want to do. Some people just totally focus wholly only on the mortgage side of the inspections because it just flows better for them because it works differently than the insurance side. Some people wholly just focus on the insurance only. They don't do mortgage field inspections. But I did both realms. I did them both at the same time. Now it will take it's just a different way on how to do it. And once you learn how to do it, it's really not much learning. You just the information I'm showing y'all is really basically how it breaks down. So you just simply go in, take the pictures and fill out the information what the way the company want you to fill it out. And every company that you work for is going to be different. Now on the mortgage side, that's with the insurance side. On the mortgage side, it's probably going to be consistent the same way you get it done. So the companies don't change that much. It just depends. A lot of them get work from Safeguard, Five Brothers, Service Link, MCS, and they have their own requirements. So the companies that you're working for, they're going to have the standards and the regulations of those companies. So once you learn those companies and the mortgage fill services, you can just about do them for everybody, and it's just going to be consistent. When it comes down to the insurance side, everybody will ask something for something different because they have different insurance companies they can be working for, like Liberty Mutual. Uh, they might be working for State Farm. They might be working with Travelers. So each one will have a different requirement. So thank you for that question. Ashley said, my score is 529. Credit acceptance. Okay. I have been late due to hardships. I have made payments and I've kept them up. But before that, I've been able to get out of the 500s. Well, that's your, okay. It's like anytime that you make late payments, it takes a good 90 days for your score to go back up. As I say on my other videos, you need unsecured lines of credit because credit acceptance is going to be some kind of installment account, like for a car. And so, like I just mentioned, payment history is 35%, and utilization, that's debt to available unsecured lines of credit. So you want to add on a credit card or unsecured line of credit to increase your credit score. I probably suggest for you the extra debit card, and to start there, and that should get your score up, because them issuing you a line of credit that'll help your score increase, usually on an average of 49 points, 50 points. And then I will apply for some other credit cards. Okay. And you want to go via pre-qualification or pre-approvals. Don't just try to go out there and just apply for everything without seeing if you fit in that company's um, profile that they're looking for. Okay, whether they give you now, even if you pre-qualify or pre-approve, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to get that card if you apply for it, but at least you have an idea. It's not just you just aiming in the dark. So I would suggest to try that from there. That's what you want to do. Look at some of these fintech companies, extra debit card, try there to add on a line of credit where you're not going to really be denied, and then go and apply for credit cards. If you can, see, like I said, with the authorized user, that would help you also. If you have family with good credit, they can add you on. So that'll help you in both categories. Mr. Campbell said, yes, the mortgage fill inspections. And thank you for the information. Yes, with the mortgage fill inspections, it can be very short dates. Sometimes when you get in there, I mean, some of these companies can play the bull. They can, like Safeguard. It's not the company that you're working for directly, but some of them will. Sometimes they'll pay more. They sometimes drop a 24-hour joint. That's not consistently, but they tend to have shorter due dates, like 5 to 7 days. It should be 7 days standard, but sometimes it'd be 5 days or something like that. Very short turnarounds. But with the insurance ones, you're going to get a longer period of time for sure. So if you're a person that want to work that industry part-time and really not so much full-time, probably to have more control, if you really need a tight schedule, probably the insurance side is going to be better. If you got more flexibility, because one thing about the mortgage side, you got to do it in daytime hours, and it depends on the volume that they give you. Because if they give you a territory, they'll tell you what's the volume. We got like 200 homes here, or we got 300 homes in this area. And like I said, you'll be seeing those in my prior videos. You'll be going past that house 2 times, probably in a month. You're going to do it they'll drop orders from the first to the 15th, and then from the 15th to the end of the month, or the 20th, you'll get a download. So you just got to make sure you can handle it. Okay. So but what you'll do is get a bigger volume of jobs by doing that. So it all depends on how people can do it. But you, unlike the insurance side, you don't have to schedule appointments. You can just drive by their house and just do it in your own time. Ashley said, I never had good or fair credit, excellent credit. I think it's because, yeah, and it's true, Ashley. Everybody is learning. And sometimes with me, the benefit, I did have parents that had good credit. And my mom, that's why I'm telling y'all, the authorized users, that's how I was able to buy a home. My mom, way back in the day, added me on as an authorized user, and I didn't even know she added me. Well, she made mention when I was 17 or 16. She's like, I'm going to add you on as an authorized user on my credit card. And I was like, all right. And I was like, really? You want to give me a credit card? No. And so I was, oh, I don't care. But when I came out, I had some student loans and I was looking to get a house. Little did I know, student loans can really help y'all credit too, if you're paying it on time. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't pay their student loans on time, or they didn't put in forbearance. And I was fortunate. I was young. I just always forbeared mine. I don't know what made me do that, but when mine, I would just make sure it was forbearance. If I couldn't pay it, or if I didn't have a really good paying job at that time. But then when I got a good paying job, I was able to pay it, and I was looking for a home. I was making good income. And lo and behold, those student loans actually helped me build good credit, and plus being a authorized user on my mom's adopting her good credit history. So for you, Ashley, if you do have a relative or a friend that can simply add you on as an authorized user, that will help you tremendously. If not, I know everybody don't have that, the extra card. And then, like I gave you the suggestion, because either way, if you are authorized user, you still got to get your own primary card. So a primary card means a card off of your credit in your name. Back in the day, and I mean back in the day being anytime before 2015, when you was an authorized user on your credit report, it just showed as a trade line. But now they mark it that it's your authorized user on that card. So it don't work as well as it used to, but it will increase your credit score. But you do need primary credit cards in your own name, because banks look at that differently. They like, wow, this is their own name. So that's been done away with for a minute. So we're all learning. I'm learning each day. So just stay tuned. And ultimately, that's what's going to get you the good credit. Like I believe it was Ann that was talking about getting the credit repair. Credit is an algorithm. So it takes you learning to know what to do and what not to do. So that's going to be where you're going to win in the long term, is gaining the knowledge. So you're gaining the knowledge now. So I really appreciate it. So say, can you please send me the link to your platinum pack? Okay. I will put it in this video after I shut it down, because I can't do it for some reason while I'm live, but I will put that in for you. And TJ said no to Lexington Law. I think we all kind of got that. How to manufacture income when you living off inheritance money. Can you give me more details? Like, what do you mean, like inheritance money? Like, because is it like a what is that? Did you get is it a trust that somebody left in your name? They did a trust fund, or what do you mean, like inheritance money? Okay, so give me some deep details on that so we can discuss that. And I'm gonna say Sherry at Business Finance. I got approved to become a member to Navy. To Navy. Oh wait, to become a member thanks to your Navy Federal membership backdoor option. I just paid $5. Thank you for the testimonial. Congratulations. You're going to do some great building there at Navy Federal. I'll be honest, I have lately just been sticking to Navy Fed. I know a lot of people. I'm not a credit card hoarder. I get enough credit cards, but the reason why I like Navy Fed, they have helped me in many categories with my PPP loans for my business. they have really showed love to me, Navy Federal. So I'm even like transferring. I got Bank of America account, and they ain't Bank of America don't do nothing for nobody. So I don't even know. They're a big corporate bank. I have found with Navy Fed, they will give loans to you. So I like to do business with them. And once you get there, it's all comprehensive. Even home loans, you can get home loans with them with no money down. So Navy Fed is a great institution if you can get in there and be a part of it. Thank you, Ann. I appreciate your comment too. Thank you for your question. I really appreciate it. Miss Cox said, would you recommend suing a collection company with 26,000? Okay, $2,600 Sprint bill? I asked them to validate twice. Now, what you need to do, Miss Cox, for account for a Sprint bill, you need to dispute with the credit bureaus. I try that first. What you need to do is look at your credit report, look at that account with that collection company, and see if it's marked as under dispute or if it has any marks. Because many times they won't mark it at all. If you don't have any marks of it being in dispute or being under review, I would dispute that account directly with the credit bureaus and say, because under the FCRA, they have to mark that account when it's under dispute. So if they didn't do that, you want to dispute that account to tell them to remove that because you disputed that with the collection company, and now that account is not being marked as under dispute. So you want it to be removed. So that's what you should do next with that $2,600 bill. I would try to dispute it first with the credit bureaus and do that, and look at your account and just let them know that they haven't marked that account as being under dispute. And said, I tried to contact you through the website, but I couldn't. Okay, what questions do you have, Ann? And maybe I can help you now. And P said, how should I handle a closed accounts on your credit report? If a closed account ain't reporting negative, you want to keep it. If it's a positive account and it's closed, you don't, if it's not a charge off or a collection, you want to keep it there because that's what help you have good history. If you remove that account and it's not negative, it can reduce your credit score. So closed accounts, if it's positive, you want to leave it there. Miss Cox says, just to let you know, I started fixing lunches for extra income and have built a regular weekend service for a barbershop. Wow, that's great. We know furniture companies here in Virginia, so thank you for the motivation. Applaud to you. Really applaud to you. That is excellent. And maybe, who knows, you might roll over into a food truck business or who knows, whatever else, you might open up a restaurant. So that is great to hear that you are motivated to make some extra income, and that's a great opportunity. And Ann said, please, can you help me? I don't know how that works. What works exactly? Yeah, if you can be a little exact for me, Ann, so I know what you mean about how what works. Okay. Al said, how should you handle a paid off car loan that's been closed since October 19 that had multiple late payments? How many late payments? One thing, a general rule about late payments with me, if the account is closed and you paid it off, what you want to do is dispute the latest payment, not the latest late payment, not the most recent late payments, the very first late payment on the account. You want to dispute the oldest one. That makes it easier to get off than trying to dispute the whole account. But if the account is really bad, you got multiple late payments. Let's say if it's more than like 6 late payments on there, I'll try to remove the whole account. I'll just dispute the whole account. Now, if it's less, if it's like 5 and they're staggered in different time periods, like it was like 5 years ago, I wouldn't bother with it. Anything over 24 months that was a late payment, most lenders are not even looking at that as a negative. It really doesn't even factor into your credit score anymore. But anything, if it was like really close within a 5 year or 2 year period, then I might look at it. All right. So that's how I would handle it. If it's more than 6, I'll try to remove the whole account. If not, and even if it was more than 6, but it was really long ago, like 5 or 6 years ago, I wouldn't bother with it. Because like I said, anything over 2 years old, if you have good payments going forward, I wouldn't bother with it. I'll focus on other things. You can focus on other things to get your score up. Um, Kingdom Livingston, thank you so much for explaining the different types. Okay, thank you for giving me your feedback to know that I was clear. Thank you so much that you guys understood me. Make Money Online said, as I'm working to remove negative items like collections, when should I start applying for new credit cards and how many accounts? You should always apply for new credit cards. It doesn't matter because you're working on negative items. I mean, you can get a credit card, everybody in their own, even with a low credit score, you can always get like a credit card, even like a Credit One Bank, First Premier. Yeah, they're bottom feeders, but by adding that line of credit on, and if you got subprime credit, like under a 700 credit score, it will increase your credit score. You can get a boost to increase your credit score even with negative items. Now, the only thing is, some people, if you have a charge off from them companies, those particular companies, you might not can get credit with that. Then you use the option of, like I said, the extra debit card, Credit AI, some other fintech companies to get a line of credit. But I don't know where everybody get this idea. And I guess it's credit repair companies because they get paid for disputing. So they don't tell you adding on unsecured lines of credit increase your credit score. I have seen somebody with a negative have a collection and have a 725 credit score. Like, you can get your score up with a collection or have negative items by having unsecured lines of credit. So that's the way that you want to go to build your credit. You can do both things at the same time. Okay, Natalie G said, I took out a $20,000 debt consolidation loan, which has a bait and switch, because I signed up for the personal loan in February, and after that they checked my credit and said they don't do personal loans, and I have a 732 credit score. So you took out, did they actually give it to you, or they denied you for the personal loan? Because if they denied you and you didn't get the loan, with a 732 credit score, you can see if you can get a balance transfer. Like, if you get a credit card where you can, if you already have a debt kind of, and they didn't give you a loan, maybe you can get a credit card with a balance transfer. And sometimes those cards have a much lower interest rate. So I would check that out. I transferred that $20,000 balance for a lower APR at some point. My score is 800. Do I transfer that balance for a lower at some point? Did you get the loan? I guess you did get the loan and it's a higher APR. If you have a good credit score, I guess if you want a lower APR, yeah, you can see if you can get a card with a balance transfer to pay that off. If you can get a credit card with a lower interest rate to do a balance transfer on that loan. I mean, if you want a lower APR, if you got an 800 credit score, I would try that. If they gave you a higher interest rate for that consolidation loan. Now, Ashley said, when you add your kids to your credit cards, is it best to wait until your credit is better? Well, it depends on that credit card itself. If you got a credit card with good payment history, with absolutely no late payments, you can add them on because they won't adopt all your credit, just that line of credit. So if you got an American Express card, or let's say my Navy Federal credit card, add them on to that, and it's always, I've never been late on that card, then they'll just get that never late history for that particular card, not the rest. But if you got a late payment on that card somewhere down the line, any of them, then no, you wouldn't add them on, because that's going to come onto their credit report. So anything that you're late on or have been late on in the past that's showing a late, no, you don't want to add them on those cards. It'll be counterproductive. And if you have you got a lot of utilization on that card, like it's close to being maxed out, pay it down and then add them on. Rita said, adding lines of credit absolutely work. My score is up 58 points. And then again, in the middle of the month, it went up another 61 points due to utilization. Utilization absolutely works. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Rita, so much for your testimony. And yes, everybody that have questions, the young lady that said she was stagnant, there you go with the testimony, adding on unsecured lines of credit. That's what you want to do by getting a credit card. Or if you can't qualify, go for that extra card and get you some kind of unsecured line of credit, and that will help build your credit score. And Nancy said, how do I make it look like I'm getting a check? I get a lump sum. So is it a trust fund? Do I need ACA deposits, but I live off the inheritance money right now? So is it a trust fund? I need to know what do you mean by inheritance money? Because the reason why I'm saying that, it could be a piece of real estate and you're getting rental. I'm not sure, like, what's the source of the inheritance. So that's what I need to know. What is the source? Is it a trust fund and there's an attorney that's giving you that money, or is it just a bank account that was left? Or I'm not sure. I need more details on what is the source, what is set up to give you that inheritance money. So was it through a will? I'm not sure. You got to give me a little more details on how that's set up. Hey, Sherry and Prop, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Anonymous 65 said, do you use credit monitoring service? If so, which one? Yes, I do. You can use Credit Karma to monitor. I use Experian. Also, I'm looking into Smart Credit. Also, that seems, I want y'all to stay tuned. That seems, somebody asked me about that on this forum, and that seems like a really great option. I'm reaching out to them now to use that credit monitoring service because they have something that's called a score builder. And with that, they will show you how to get to a road to a 750 credit score within like 120 days. So I'm looking into that. I'm actually on Monday talking to a representative. That may be a good way to go to, is using Smart Credit. So I'll have a breakdown on that with y'all this week. All right. So that may be a great option for you guys. And say I have 3 collections in my credit and 18 hard inquiries. I'm trying to take those collections off. I am a co-signer for an apartment for a girlfriend, but she broke the lease and oh geez. All right, with the 3 collections, you will send a debt validation letter for the 3 collections. The apartment, I have a package particularly for apartments. If that's collection is due to an apartment, those collections as a co-signers, because with an apartment, there is a lease, and that collection company is still subject with lease to your landlord tenant laws in that state. But if those collections are just general collections, like consumer collections, you send a debt validation letter. even if it's medical elections, send a debt validation letter directly to the company. I do have a package, the platinum package. It has a different letter for medical and one for consumer collections. And there's a different one for, like I said, anything that has to, a collection has to do with an apartment. The one thing with the medical collection, those companies are under the guidance of HIPAA laws. Many of them are breaking the HIPAA law because they shouldn't have your personal health information or any details like that. They need to be compliant with HIPAA. So I have a different law for that. Ann said my credit score is 600 now. Well, you want to add unsecured lines of credit, and that will increase your credit score. Okay, so you need to add on to increase your credit score. Credit cards. I mean, it's just simple as that. You can find credit cards in your category, or like I just mentioned, you can add the extra or credit AI card. You can go with that and you'll see an increase in your credit score. Getting a credit card when you have the funds to keep up with. Well, the one thing is you can, and that's a good point because a lot of people get that credit card and can't pay it. The wisest thing is, I always say, is this: if you have a credit card, if you don't have the cash in the bank to pay 3 times, you don't have 3 times the cash in the bank to pay that card off, you should not be charging anything on that card. Now, me, myself, personally, I never had like credit card debt. I never been a person that charged things on my card. Even when I was young, I was always a calculated person. So I don't have that issue. A lot of people I have discovered by working with them, they do have an issue with spending. I never had that issue. Like, I have people that have $30,000 worth of credit card debt, and I ask them, well, what did you buy? They have no idea. So I can't relate, because everything I bought, I would know what I bought, and I never had 30 or even $20,000 worth of credit card debt. So if you're a person and you know you can't control your spending, if you got that credit card, you need to leave it at home, put it up, and just make sure you don't use it. And like I said, use the rule of thumb that I use. But in order to build good credit, you're going to have a credit card. So, okay, answer, I'm confused. I've never been in this situation. Please help me out. I have videos, actually, and on my channel, where I break all of this down. Is like, here I can answer general questions. I try to direct you as much as possible. But for me to get engulfed in any one subject, because it's so different how to handle credit items, I have whole videos dedicated on that one subject on my channel, and the video is absolutely free. So you can go over there, and each issue that you have, you can watch the video, and I'm breaking it down on what you need to do. So you can, with the eviction collections and all consumer collection, medical collections, I have that breakdown right there on my channel, individually broken down. So HR Collins says, Sherry, I have watched all your videos. I have never caught one of your lies. My credit score went up by 20 points just by finessing the credit bureaus with utilization hacks. Thank you so much. Thank you for your testimonial. I really appreciate that, Mr. Collins. And this is just helping you in. It show you, if you go watch some of those videos, the techniques work just like Mr. Collins, just like with Rita and everybody else. You just got to apply it. I know it might seem to be overwhelming, but you just have to apply it. So it just take learning, and once you learn it, you just have to apply the information and work it step by step to handle your situation. But number one is always the utilization, like he mentioned. Adding an unsecured line of credit or paying down your credit cards. You will see an increase in your credit score. That's the fastest way. And then you can dispute working on those negative items. All right, well, I'm going to let you guys go. I got to jump out. I hear my baby crying. I'm just going to answer a few more questions. Diamond's Life said, I have heard any news about all three credit bureaus removing collections on medical bills? Yes, I do. I was gonna do a video on that. They should be removing them. I think about 72 million, if I'm not mistaken, collections for medical collections should be being removed by the big three. So that is absolutely correct. I seen that story too. I actually seen it yesterday, and I'm going to read through it, and I was going to do a video on that. So I will keep you posted. Devin said, is it true that we have multiple payments per month on our credit, that it will be reported as multiple? I don't understand what you mean. Like, if you have, no, they'll report it as one single payment. If you mean like if you're paying more than one time, no, I haven't seen it multiple payments. They just have a one payment on that month, for June or July. Even if you make multiple payments, it's not like they're giving you extra payments reporting. Nancy said, I got one lump sum, big lump sum of money from a legal matter I won. It was one check. I live off of that check. I want to build relationship with, well, you need to start a business, a LLC, and you can start a business. So that's what you can do, and start a business, a LLC, S Corp, and put that there, and start some business activities. You can take some of that money, put it in the LLC checking account to start that. And if you want to pay yourself like that, but you need to start looking like doing some kind of business activities, some kind of way. Start an online business, start, just some kind of business, and then you can pay yourself that way. That's what I would say. If it's not a trust fund or anything like that, one lump sum of money, and you want to look like you making income. So I would start a business. So I will let you guys go. I'm sorry I can't stay longer. I have to tend to my baby. Thank you all for joining me. I will be here next week to answer your questions. If you have any more questions, I will, you can submit your questions at my website, and they go directly to my cell phone. Sometimes, I'm, overwhelmed. So just give me some time. Thank you, Miss Williams. I haven't seen you in forever. So thank you so much for joining me, Miss Williams. You always supported me from the start. I thank you for the love. I really appreciate you for joining me, everyone on here. Thank you so much, Veronica, for the congratulations. And somebody said Credit Karma is somewhat. Yeah, it is somewhat. I see. So. The only thing with Credit Karma, what's good with using Credit Karma, you can see if any negative item hits your credit. That is accurate. So if you see a collection pop up, that you can use it for that. That is accurate on negative items showing up. But the scores can vary because it's a Vantage score. But thank you, you guys. I hope to see y'all next week. And I got some more content coming here for this channel. It'll be up a new video by Wednesday. So God bless you guys. Be safe for the rest of the week. And